The sound of the gunshot rang out, sharp and deafening. In that instant, everything around me froze. My heart stopped as I turned to see my daughter, crumpled on the ground, her hands gripping her leg, blood staining the grass beneath her. Her eyes were wide with fear as she let out a quiet, painful whisper. "Mom, help me." But it wasn't the pain in her voice that paralyzed me. It was the icy words that followed from Karen. The HOA Karen. That's what happens when you disobey. HOA rules. Her voice was devoid of any remorse, as if my daughter's life was nothing more than collateral damage in a twisted game of power. I rushed to my daughter's side, my hands shaking as I pressed them against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. My mind was racing. How had this gone so far? What kind of person shoots someone, especially a disabled child, over something as trivial as parking in the wrong spot? The answer hit me like a punch in the gut. Karen had never seen us as human. To her, we were just obstacles to her perfect little world. As I held my daughter, trying to comfort her in the chaos of that moment, rage began to boil inside me. This wasn't just about the rules anymore. This was an act of violence, a calculated attack, and I was going to make sure Karen paid for it. I looked up, meeting Karen's cold gaze. She stood there, the gun still in her hand, a sick grin spreading across her face. This wasn't just a neighborhood dispute. This was personal, and I was done running. Karen had been trouble from the moment we moved into this neighborhood. At first I thought she was just a rigid stickler for the rules. After all, that's what the HOA was supposed to be for, right? To keep the peace and make sure everyone followed the same guidelines. But as time went on, I realized Karen wasn't just enforcing rules. She was manipulating them. She bent them to fit her own desires, her own sense of superiority, and she used them to control anyone she deemed inferior to her. I had enough to deal with in my life. Raising a disabled daughter and making sure she had everything she needed left me with little energy for petty neighborhood drama. But Karen had a way of inserting herself into every part of my life. If it wasn't complaints about the way we maintained our lawn, it was demands about how we parked. No matter what we did, she found something wrong. She didn't just want things to be nice and orderly, she wanted everything to be her way. If we didn't conform, she made sure we knew it. The first few times I let it go, I tried to avoid confrontation, thinking that maybe she was just one of those people who had to have everything perfect. I let her make those snide comments, let her send the occasional letter to the HOA about some minor infraction. But when her behavior turned more personal, more aggressive, that's when I started to push back. That's when I realized this wasn't just about rules. This was about power. Karen didn't like being challenged. She didn't like anyone defying her, and she didn't take kindly to anyone who didn't bow down to her authority. The real tension began when Karen started to target the way I park my car. It wasn't just a matter of convenience or aesthetics to her. It was a matter of control. My daughter, who relies on a wheelchair, needed closer parking to make it easier for her to get in and out of the car. But Karen didn't care about that. She didn't care that my daughter's disability made certain things more difficult. All Karen cared about was enforcing the rules no matter the cost. To her, our needs didn't matter. She began sending me official warnings. "You're in violation of HOA policy," she'd say in her cold, clipped tone. "This will not be tolerated." Each letter was a reminder that I was on thin ice, that my family was being scrutinized under her watchful eye. Every time I tried to explain that I wasn't trying to break the rules, but needed special parking for my daughter's safety, Karen simply dismissed it. She didn't care to understand. To her, my situation didn't matter. I wasn't following her version of the rules, and that was the only thing that mattered to her. Her warnings became more frequent, more threatening. It's like started giving me deadlines to fix things, sending letters to the HOA, and even talking to my neighbors about my supposed violations. At first I thought I could ignore her, but it quickly became clear that Karen was no ordinary HOA member. She wasn't just enforcing rules. She was waging a personal war. What had started as small annoyances, complaints about the lawn, or minor infractions was quickly spiraling into something much more sinister. Karen's